Hey guys, I'm MeeMee and I do Allsorts, and today we have a new Scrawlrbox. So this is September's Scrawlrbox, and if you don't know, Scrawlrbox is in that subscription box here in the UK where you get different supplies, a prompt, make something with it. Not sponsored, non-affiliated, but I do love the supplies that I do get. So without further ado, let's see what we get inside. Alright, and in September's box we get... Ooh, oh, well that explains why there was a bit of rattling. Okay, I'm actually quite interested to know what's in here. I can feel something. Right, first from the sweet for the month is one of my favourites, which is Blackjack, and it's like a chewy licorice. And it actually does turn your tongue black if you eat a lot of them. I say chewy in air quotes because compared to other places like America, and you know, chewy means and then it's soft and it's nice and chewy. But everything that I come across in the UK, it's as hard as rock. So I'm going to enjoy breaking my teeth on this later. Alright, so he's out scrolling scene. I love how muted it is and very monotone. This is everything from our art supplies, featured artings, instant tips. I absolutely love these. Alright, and this is the featured artist's work. I am actually quite sorry, but in real life I actually had a hard time trying to figure out what was going on, but on camera I can see that it's a Valley. Who is Robert Dutton. He is from North Yorkshire, from where I am, and he's in Leeds, but I'm actually a bit further north. But I absolutely do love North Yorkshire, but I think I'm just being biased because that's where I live. Then since info if you'd like to look at some more. Alright, and our paper for this month is Paint on Mixed Media Multi-Techniques Denim. Okay, that's a bit of a mouthful. It's A5, 250 GSM, £115. We get 10 sheets, and if you've been following me for quite some time, you can see it's by my favourite brand, Clairefontaine. Ooh. Oh, now this is nice. Ooh, that paper is so thick. Now, I have never before seen blue paper. Well, I have done, just not in like more of a professional sense, and it's usually in black or white and like muted toned colours, sort of, like beige, brown, grey, and real tonal paper. But this is the first time I've ever seen blue, and I'm all for it. I really do want to know how this is going to work. And now brings us on to my bag of goodies that is literally splitting at the seam. Alright, and so first up is our scroller sticker, and it's the same as the featured artist's work, and our destruction list that we'll have a look at in a minute. Okay, so first up we have a blending stump from Derwent. Now just seeing this, I know we are going to get messy. I don't like getting messy, and this is perfect for someone like me who wants to try and minimise getting graphite or whatever everywhere, so I do like these. Alright, next up is one of my favourite mediums, charcoal. Yay! I remember the last time I had charcoal. I hated it. So it looks like we're getting charcoal blocks, and one in light, one in medium and one in dark, and then we've got graphite blocks, and one in soft, one in medium and one in hard. Alright, and that's what they look like. You can't really see, but it does actually tell you which one it is. And on this side it's charcoal, and on this side it's graphite, and somewhere on there it does actually say which one is which. So we've got light, medium and dark, and then we've got soft, medium and hard. I really do love these little boxes. Alright, and up next we've got, first one is a white one. I'm assuming it's a chocolate. It doesn't really say, I'll have to have a look in the list. But this is Gold Faber by one of my favourite brands, Faber-Castell. And also by Faber-Castell we have these patent graphite matte pencils. So we've got one in B6 and oh, hello. Is that 14B? I have only ever seen a 10B pencil, and that was dark, and I never knew that we could get 10B pencils but a 14. Oh, I need to try this. If an 10B was dark, I want to know how dark a 14B is going to be. Alright, and last but not least, I did not forget this because it fell out earlier. I can't see what it says on this. All I can make out is art graph. But considering how heavy it is, it could be an eraser or it could be a kneaded eraser. Nope, it's chalk. That is going to be the nice messy medium to work with. I do actually have something like this, but it's like a Tailors chalk, I think it is. So I do know how to use it, which is a good thing. Okay, so looking at this, it is actually Tailors chalk, so I was right. Finally I know my stuff. So the white pencil is the white colour pencil, so I was slightly off. I thought it was chalk, but it's coloured. Well, then it is good to know. So I'm going to tidy up. I'm going to prepare my work surface and I will get right back to you. Okay, so normally I go into like the experimental stage, but because this is such a messy medium and I really don't really want to do that. So what I've done here is that I've just got a piece of paper around. It's in the actual scroll box itself, and just all of the dust is contained, and I'm not wiping it off my table. It's not going on my floor. I can just tip it to one side and it will all be contained in this box, and then just chuck the box out. If you've seen some of the videos of mine, then you will see that I have used this technique before and it does actually work. It does have its challenges because I can't rest my hand properly because the sides and them, but it does help with keeping the whole of your hand clean. And as you can see, I am wearing a glove because it's a nightmare for me to get off my fingers, but then it's just down to my own personal experience and whatnot. Right, so now that I'm going straight into this, I did have a long go at the promptings and to get a head start on things, and the scrolling challenge for this month is dramatic landscapes. Now, I'm not a huge fan of doing landscapes, but you know, it's nice to break away and do something different from time to time. So what I wanted to do was look through all of my holiday photos and from past years and choose something from that. So I'm actually doing this one which I'm taken, I think it was in Austria, and this was taken back in 2015, I believe. But I'll tell you what, it was absolutely beautiful. So that's what I'm going to do. The next challenge ahead of me lies with the fact that I don't necessarily know exactly how to use toned paper properly. I have used it in the past, but nothing like this. I know that toned paper is your mid-tones and you just build shadows and highlights around it. I've seen other people do it. It looks simple enough, but putting it into practice when you're not used to it, it's a whole brand new kettle of fish. So I'm going to go into it and I'm going to go have fun. So as you can see, I'm just blocking in like some of my mid-tone values, which will make it a lot easier to like place all of my darks and highlights later on. And in places like around here, I'm actually just picking up some of the loose charcoal that I knocked off, and you know, just for the little bit of subtlety. Alright, and there you have it. I was thinking it's not an exact match, but what is? It's, even though then there was like a quick drawing, I have to admit, I love the fact how even I can tell what it is. You know, I've got different dimensions, I've got like the foreground and the middle ground and the background, and then just hope that it actually comes out across that it is like a mountain range with like a lake in the middle and trees on the bottom. I know that I missed out a large border, but I suppose that it has a bit of a certain charm to it in a way. But I really didn't try my hardest with this, and just to try and get like different textures, like all of the trees and you know the different textures in the landscape and a little bit of haze in the background. The trees in the foreground you know, I'm not exactly the best, but you know, you can tell that the trees. Again, still not my favourite medium, but I tried. Alright, now on to my product review. You know, since then I didn't exactly do any experimenting whatsoever because like send charcoal is charcoal, you've seen it once, you've seen it 1,000 times. So first we've got the charcoal and graphite sticks. I only use the charcoal ones, not the graphite, but the work like charcoal, can't really say much about it. Smudges, you can get different likenesses, if that's a word. You can get different variations, work like charcoal. The pencils were actually really, really nice to work with. The bee things came out nice and dark, but the 14B was the absolute star. And the 14B was actually a little bit lighter than the darkest charcoal pencil, but compared to like all of the other B pencils and to have, including the 10B, it was really dark and it works so nicely with the charcoals. So even though they are pencils, I would actually recommend really dark graphite pencils to go along with the charcoal just to get in like the finer details. The gold and white pencil I absolutely loved and came out absolutely beautifully on the page. It really broadened down the really bright highlights and wanting to break up the mids and the darks. I actually quite like June's in it. It did blend down to little bins, which was quite nice to give those subtle highlights. Don't know if you can tell, but I did a little bit of it in the sky. It's a really good staple for doing any charcoal drawings. Because with any monochrome drawings, you really need those highlights to really push everything forward. And it really did help an awful lot, especially around the waterland, just to really separate what's land and what's water. The Tailors chalk, even though then it's only used in the sky unbinned, and worked really well. You know, covered in a large area, it was really weird to touch. It's not exactly like chalkboard chalk, but it was really interesting to hold in like a square format and even having the corners to work with to get in like tight corners. So that was actually really good. On fabrics, I'm not entirely convinced. I only used it once on fabrics and I did not like it, but this isn't its own tutorial. But yeah, well, just as well as the pencil, and it's really great for large areas. Never actually really thought about using something like this in my art, so yeah, I'll probably try and use this one again. I'm just throwing this one in the paper stump. Did exactly what it said on the tin. Kind of wore it down a little bit, but like I said, for someone like me who does not like to get messy, this was amazing. You don't really need to get the dirt one, you can use whatever you've got on hand. I've actually gone to box of like Q-tips, which are really effective as well. So yeah, just another neat little thing to have. Alright guys, post-editing MeeMee here. I got that excited to wrap this up, then I actually forgot to talk about the paper. Now even though then I'm not used to working on coloured paper and for like mid-tones, I actually really enjoyed working like this. You know, because I've already got the mid-tones and all I had to do was add the shadows and the highlights, which made it so much more easier. And now I understand why people do like using toned paper. Working on blue was actually really interesting. It was just interesting to work around like in different colour. other than like grey or beige and whatever. So I actually really enjoyed that, and the paper itself held up really, really well with the mediums. You know, the charcoal went on really nicely, the white went down really nicely, as you can see. So yeah, I actually really do like the papers, so if you can, I would recommend trying a coloured paper, and I will always recommend to try out Clairefontaine because I really do love the brand. Alright, and back to past MeeMee. Alright, and then in for the September scrawler box. Now, a good tip with this, and what I'm going to be doing as soon as I'm finished, I will be using fixative, and just so this doesn't rub off on anything else, and it's a lot easier to handle. I use the Winsor & Newton fixative, a bit expensive, but oh my life, it's the best fixative I've ever tried. In fact, apart from using really cheap hairspray, it's the only professional fixative that I've ever tried, and I love it. And also as well, after I've taken the photographs, I will be actually putting like a clear film over the top, so then it really does not transfer onto anything else. That's going to be the tricky part, but so long as I have the pictures, we're okay, because no matter what, it's not going to turn out pretty at the end of it, and it's going to be super shiny. So I go the extra mile when it comes to really messy mediums. Anyway, if you guys would like to have your own scrawler box, I will leave a link in the description box below. So with that said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.